Hello folks, this is Scott with Soul Reflections again. I wanted to talk about how to clean leather. Now this is a topic that gets there's a lot of people that have a lot of, what's the best way to put this, a lot of misinformed or information that's not actually true about how to clean leather. Now for the most part, a lot of us believe because leather is so expensive, we're paying a high premium price for the leather, that we've got to be really delicate with it to be able to remove some of the grease and grime that can be on the leather. And to some extent that's true, but leather actually has a coating on top of this leather. This particular leather here has what we call, and for most of you that are watching this video, most of your leather has a plastic coating, believe it or not. It's a kind of a clear coating that's on the leather to help preserve it and protect it. Now when it comes to cleaning leather, some of us may choose to just take like a dedicated leather cleaner and just simply spray the surface of the leather, and then take a microfiber towel and just simply wipe up and agitate the cleaner over the surface of the leather. Now for leather that isn't all that dirty and it hasn't been neglected for far too long, that can be completely appropriate and absolutely perfect for actually cleaning the leather. Again, if there's not a lot of dirt and soil or grease and grime that may be on the leather. But for the most part, sometimes leather gets neglected. It just, life gets in the way and we don't get a chance to get to it as often as we would like. And here's kind of a little tip and a secret when it comes to leather. If your leather actually looks shiny or glossy, so if you look at it and it looks shiny or glossy, that's a good indication to you that the leather is actually dirty and it's time to clean it. In fact, it's been too long. You probably should have cleaned it sooner, but again, life gets in the way and I understand that. But there's a couple of different ways you can do this. One, you can just simply spray a dedicated leather cleaner or an all-purpose cleaner and just wipe it across the surface of the leather, and that may be good for some of you if your leather hasn't been neglected. Now for me, as a professional detailer, I'll come out to people's homes, and again, life gets in the way. They usually call me and say, Scott, my car needs some type of attention, and I'll look at the leather, and sometimes the leather can be rather dirty. Now when it comes to cleaning leather, what I choose to use is an all-purpose cleaner. The all-purpose cleaner I use is Meguiar's, and if you've watched some of my other videos before, I'm a big fan of this product because you can use it in so many different areas in the car, but it's absolutely perfect for cleaning off leather seats as well. Now when it comes to cleaning leather, you can use a brush, believe it or not. Some people get a little nervous and worried about trying or using a brush, a soft bristle brush on leather. They think they're actually damaging the leather. Now some common sense has to be applied here. Of course, you don't want to apply a tremendous amount of pressure and actually wear through or break down that coating that's on the leather. But the leather was actually created to be agitated by some form of brush. Now the brush I choose to use at about 95% of the time, if I'm going to agitate it with a brush, if I'm going to agitate the leather with a brush, I'm going to use this little tiny brush I have in my hand. It's made by Color Lock. It's actually a German-made leather cleaning brush, and it's incredibly effective. Now, some of you may be looking at this going, wow, that's awfully tiny. That doesn't seem like it's going to get the job done. Well, the brush was actually designed and created to be small because there's another tip and trick to actually cleaning leather. You don't necessarily want to spray the whole surface, like this particular seat here. I wouldn't want to spray the whole surface of the bottom of the seat and try to clean this leather at one go around with the brush and work all the way around the leather. You actually want to work in small sections, so it would look something like this. I would spray the all-purpose cleaner on the seat and just hit a small area, a small panel of the leather, and then take my brush and just slightly agitate the cleaner into the leather and just work that back and forth until I've completely cleaned the leather. And then what I would do is I would just go in with a microfiber towel and mop up, and then I would have a clean leather seat, and there's been no damage done to the seat because of using that brush. Now there's another way I typically clean leather, and this is the best way as far as I'm concerned of being able to clean leather effectively and being able to do it safely. Again, I would use an all-purpose cleaner like my Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner, and I would spray this one area of the panel down and let the cleaner dwell there for about 15-20 seconds, and then I like using steam. This particular steamer here has a little triangular head on the end of the steamer, and I wrap it in a microfiber towel so it's a little bit more gentle on the leather. But also too, it's going to allow the heat that comes from the steam to transfer through the microfiber towel, and as I pull up or break through that grease and grime, my microfiber towel is actually going to be mopping that up and allowing that grease and grime and dirt that might be on the leather to stick to the microfiber. So it would look something like this. So my all-purpose cleaner has been dwelling there on the leather seat, and I simply take my steamer and then once I'm done steaming, I take a dry microfiber and just slightly clean up a little bit of that excess product that's still sitting on the surface of the leather, and then pick up a little bit of the moisture from the steam. Now what I have is leather that's absolutely clean, it's soft, it's supple, there's no grease or grime on the leather, and to me as a professional when it comes to cleaning leather seats, again, I can use some form of brush, and I actually like this little color lock brush made in Germany, and I would use this on a leather seat that wasn't heavily neglected or extremely dirty. This would be very effective and quick. I can cut to the chase, if you will, rather quickly that way. But if I come across a leather seat that's been neglected for far too long and it just has a tremendous amount of grease and grime on it, I'll use the steamer. The steamer seems to be the best way for me to be able to cut through all that grease and grime. Again, because it's using steam, and with the conjunction of having the all-purpose cleaner lying on the surface, that steam has the ability to kind of re-liquefy some of that grease, grime, and oils that may be coming off our skin. Maybe if you're wearing shorts and you're driving your vehicle, or you have some type of suntan lotion on your skin, that stuff can get stuck to the surface of the leather, and it can kind of be difficult to remove. So the steam kind of brings all that back to a liquefied state, and as soon as I'm done steaming, I can mop up all that grease, grime, and oils, and it will come completely off the leather seat effectively and safely. So that's just a quick little video on how I choose to clean leather. Steam to me seems to be the best way to do it. And also too, just kind of a side note, I think I've brought this up before, when we're using a steamer inside the car, steam also does a great job of removing some certain types of bacteria, so that's a nice added bonus and plus to steaming the seats. But again, you don't have to be overly concerned if you choose to use a brush to clean your leather. That's fine. In fact, these brush companies actually created and designed these brushes to be used on leather seats. Again, just apply some common sense. You don't want to go in here and, be scrubbing the leather seat down with a lot of pressure. Just enough pressure to engage the cleaner into the leather and pull up that grease and grime is all that's needed. But if you have a leather seat that's completely hammered and it's got a lot of grease and grime and gunk on it, then to me the steamer is the best option to be able to do that safely. Again, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Hope this has helped you understand how I clean leather, or maybe you want to employ this type of method on your own leather seats. It's incredibly gentle and effective, and it looks great when it's all said and done. Until next time, I appreciate it. Have a great one. Be safe.